where do we start? Where do we end? Where do we begin? So, I don't know if anyone knows, but I'm dyslexic. So just bear with me, because I have so much intel that it's ridiculous. And I've just been gathering my knowledge and awareness just so I can bring it to you guys in a way that's different. So we're not talking about conspiracy theories. I'm a criminologist, okay? So I'm not a conspiracy buff. I am a criminologist, okay? So I studied war crimes and genocide, for example. I studied these things, right? I listened in social issue and social justice, but I also had an opinion, okay? So I've also delved into institutions, and I've studied child abuse, okay? I studied corporate crime, white collar crime, the difference. I'm studied in these things because I wanted to know what was wrong in this world. So I did. And after that, I went on to learning how to be a mother. And I already was doing that anyway, naturally. Okay? And I mothered my own mother in different ways as well. Okay? So I understood a matriarchal energy, which is a mother. Okay? There's some matriarchal energies. It's a position. Okay? So we have patriarchal energy, which is a man, and then we have matriarchal energy, which is the woman. So in a society, we always have to have a balance. We have to have a balance of people, especially people who have children. So the people who have children will be more suited for a higher rise because they can see a consequence and a knock-on effect in a world if it's taken advantage of. This can also be thrown in people's faces a lot to give you that compassionate energy, the compassion to throw it in your face, knowing their children are safe, for example, right? So I'm not saying that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying that's the case for me, because there's a war on children, a war against women, and nobody's talking about it, and there's lots of ads protecting these men, but there's no gravitation towards protecting women and adding resource to the community and also children. So when I was a little girl, when my mummy was poorly, I needed someone else to come in and help us cook, clean, and do those things. And when I was a little girl, that's what they had, cook and a clean, and she used to come and help us. And this doesn't happen as much anymore, okay? So usually what happens is it would be a straight clean take, right? When maybe they just needed help cleaning and cooking. And I think this was introduced with key workers supporting families, okay? So this is still going now, but they don't offer the same resources as what they did. This was in the 90s. This was when Scorpio was in Pluto, okay? So there's a lot of things that we can talk about today, but if I'm going to be honest with you, the matriarch is supposed to work alongside the patriarch. And if when this doesn't happen, okay, this is why there's statues of women everywhere, okay, because an aspiration of understanding a matriarchal energy. This is why Persephone is on the buildings, okay? So it's an aspect of understanding there is a matriarchal energy as well as the patriarch. The patriarch is usually a stone building that's a rise, okay? And that's okay. It's not bad. However, there has to be an incorporation of both, and it has to be a balance, because when it's not, things are dislodged. The inversions creep in, and we are left with a pile of debris that we're supposed to fix for the people, when it's actually the system itself that's broken it for the people. But the system is here, breaking it for the people up here, pushing us down. Okay, so as gematria, right, to best explain this to you, the system is at the bottom. I haven't got it with me, it's the Kabbalah, and I haven't got it with me, and it's the bottom triad. This is the system. They are supposed to be working for the kingdom, for the people. Okay, so when it doesn't work, the system breaks, the people fall. Okay, so this is how you can understand the Kabbalah as a people rise at the top energy. Understand an aspect of you are higher in understanding and wisdom because you've grown, okay, because you've worked your backside off, you've done everything that you needed to do. You weren't an I do person, you went by your own accord, you thought about it before you did it. So this is an aspect of understanding where the people are, okay, because the people are always trying to rise higher because they're understanding through their wisdom that they've gained. For example, aspects of counselling, yeah, so you can rise to understanding with counselling. Somebody might need to help you, okay, but this might not necessarily be the case. Depends what type of person you are, right? So we can understand, because people can stop us from evolving through doing those things. So sometimes individualism is the best way. You might just need a word of wise advice, wisdom, something to change your identity, to push you into the right direction, okay? And it could be anybody off the street, anybody walking, anybody seeing, saying hello. It could be a greet, okay? It could be anything. If somebody offers you that wisdom, it's a pearl, okay? It's a pearl, okay? Because they've done it out of love. Because they didn't have to give you that wisdom. They didn't have to care, did they? They gave you pearl of wisdom. Sometimes it's not real as well. Sometimes it's not truth. So it's broken already. So you can see when someone gives you a pile of mess, broken, but then you can see when somebody gives you a pearl and it's beautiful, right? Not in spiritual realms, just in understanding this, okay? How we can understand the Venus energy, which is the green, rising from wisdom to understanding, okay? You grab your pearls, you reach for them, right? It's a gematria, right? And it's not in your head, the pineal gland, that's not your gematria, it's above you. And everyone's flying around everywhere, and I can see it. So, what we do is, we have to understand that there's a place for people, okay, in this world. And if it wasn't for the people, your system wouldn't exist. So there would be no need for your architectures, because you just walk into a position. For example, a lot of people that are in the position now that they're in is because daddy said so, mummy said so, right? So they're in positions of power because of that. And it's an ascribed connotation, it's not something that they're worked for, okay? So you can understand this, like, for example, because sometimes it's a good thing, because these people have listened, sat in politics, listening to their elders, and they know. So there's a good side to that. You can understand why they're ascribed, and they've walked into their positions, because they've sat and listened to politics, they've sat and listened to everything that they need to listen to as children, sitting at a table, right? As I did. And it's about understanding that that is a fellowship. Your family, your kin is your fellowship. However, sometimes when people are in ascribed statuses and their family go, they don't know what to do. They've lost their moral compass because they've never had it, because they never had one, because they always looked up to somebody else. This is a fallacy, because usually other things take over. Maybe an aspect of corruption might take over under systematic regimes, and then you've got all these people at the top, and you've got this system at the bottom, and they're not working right, they're not doing the right things, they might be corrupt. They might be hiding things, okay? So this is the criminology that comes back. If your system doesn't work at the lower triad, your Kabbalah, then you fail to recognise your rise, okay? So you have fallen. You are always supposed to be rising to the top in understanding aspects of your system itself, because you are part of it. So, you're all in the system, you think, oh, this isn't going to happen to me because I'm in the system. No, you become collateral because you know. You become collateral damage because you know what's going on, right? So you all fall, right? Whether it's your generation or the next generation. And it happens every time. This is why. This is also why you shouldn't give gifts. You shouldn't give a gift of honour, medal, and then pass it from a country, because this is your karma, okay? So they say, oh, this is your karma, like a gift, when it's not, okay? So like, how can I best explain this? For example, all the atrocities that are taking place in a certain area that's happening all at once, and you're blindly ignoring what's happening, you're taking a medal for that. You're taking a medal for taking what's not yours underground, that was never meant to be yours in the first place, that you never had a control over in the first place. And sometimes, under jurisdiction, if you're letting it continue as a hierarchy factor in a system, okay, because I'm not in the system, I can't tell, I can only speak for an aspect of understanding what you're doing, because it's happening to me, okay? So when it happens to gematria, this is when, because I am gematria, and it's not my system, okay, I'm telling you to change your system, because I have to, because if I don't, then there's consequences for me too. On the afterlife, I have to tell you, okay? This is why I'm on YouTube, because I have to tell you what's happening, because this is the way forward, because you have to do it in the truth, because if not, you fall, okay? So everybody's falling into the inversions, we're all in the backs, we're all hiding, right? The system is a version, a true version, a system that's supposed to work for the people and hand in hand, right? So when it doesn't do that, you all fell back into the inversions, which you kindly showed me, you strange people. And you showed me that you have all fallen and you're hiding things, like the black screen connotation. Women are doing this and men are doing this. So you don't reflect a true aspect of understanding the patriarchal energy when you act like this. You are not showing the people a truth, because you are sat in inversions pretending to be a version, and you are sat in an inverted state pretending that you are a version of a truth that is justified and right, okay? So when there's people in positions of power like that, they need to be taken out. Like, just putting it blatantly obvious for you, like, these people shouldn't be in them positions, okay? We need whistleblowers. It's happened in 2010, people are trying to bring it out. We need to bring whistleblowers out, because this was the mark of turning our universe into a better place, okay? Even aspects of understanding an inverted state can fall. We know that we can always rise, right? We need to pull people out of the inversions, sack them, get rid of them, yeah? Because this is the mirror reflection that we've done as a consequence for me, so I can understand as a mirror reflection what needs to take place in this universe, because you've already shown me. So if you're pushing people who are averted states, so are in true states, true rises, true understandings, true methods of how to rise, and I'm teaching people to do that, and you're trying to stop me, that goes to show that you are in inverted states instantly, okay? So when you see me, you think, oh, we're supposed to be working with this woman in a different way. We're not supposed to be doing this to this woman. Maybe people might say that. Maybe people don't. But when you understand, okay, that people have to come together, okay, to create change on this plane. So I guess MPs can write petitions against the lobbyists if the lobbyists are being corrupt, for example. You can write petitions against these people, okay? You know that you can figure it out so you can get these people out of these places. And it's because if you don't, there'll be a consequence and a knock-on effect upon everybody if for example, a person was to stay in that position, because they might be doing things that are beyond an aspect of acceptance. They may be doing something extremely illegal. So we need to understand that there's positions that have become political in an arena where they have taken advantage of people who are innocent under political and religious regimes to do what they wilt. But it will wilt. Your plans will fall as you die and perish. Because the reality is that these people, these innocent people, this innocence, when it's gone, okay, it's like a heavy black cloud upon a universe. Because you've taken that much innocence and there's none left. This can be understanding an aspect of the Black Death rituals that have been taking place. So you can understand this through aspects of farming, for example. Like, people don't agree with it, it's like vegan and all that, and we're all vegan, like a lot of people are vegan. For example, you might think to yourself, there's a lot of negative energy because of the way that they're passing. For example, Muslims, they do it a certain way, which is interesting because it connects back to a Kabbalah. But anyway, you can understand how this people can feel this. They're protesting against it. They're saying, we don't want you to do this anymore. We don't want farms to be. We don't want animals. We don't want to eat the animals anymore. So there's a lot of protests going on about that, and 2020 came out big. Now let's get to the Muslim aspects of it, because they agree, but then they've changed it slightly. So they hang their dead upside down, their animals. Now this is like unfun butchery and stuff like this. Like, if you go to the meat market and stuff, you don't turn it off, right? But this is an inverted state, and it's to make sure that animal is inverted when it passes as an inversion of a Kabbalic understanding, is that when you eat it, what happens to you? Does that animal take that sacrifice as an upside down inverted state, and then when you eat it, that's okay? No, it doesn't work like that. Just like the cross, when you turn it upside down, it doesn't work like that. So this is why, because you rise, because in a connotation of understanding, a gematria is a high point at top. But then when you watch that fall, because nobody's coined it, have they? What is it, gematria? That's the answer. Freemasons had it down there, right? It's a G on it, it's at the top. This is why it's on their masonries, it's at the top. So when you all fall, for example, you can see, because I've studied criminology, how this has taken place. And ultimately, what you'll find is in the fall of this world, right? And just because you can see it, don't mean that you're in it. You're an observer, right? So you can be observing this, sat in a classroom, for example, studying it, right? You're an observer, you're observing this. Somebody else is telling you what's going on. You can make your own mind up, what you believe. But this is the point, okay? So this is bringing in an aspect of Nasansi, right? So they don't believe in eating meat. They don't believe in it. Vegetarian all the way. Why? Because you have a higher rise, okay? Not because you're light in body, but because there's an aspect of destruction that's taking place at a large scale just for that. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to Nasansi. And they also don't believe in child sacrifice as well. This doesn't make sense for Sansi. It doesn't make sense to me either. You know, as a gematria, we can rise and understand and know all our lives, but be forced to do something that we don't want to do. Now, just because, you know, somebody's made us do that, that doesn't mean that we're bad. It just means that they've done that because they want to punish us, but they're punishing themselves in the long run. So you have to understand this, that as an aspect of incarnation and understanding a process of a rise, because it's not real, like spirituality is mixed with AI so much, I don't believe that you can comprehend an aspect of what is and what isn't, only sometimes, and it would be because it's happened there and then, and that's how it works. But because radio stations exist and stuff like this, there's a fall in aspects of spirituality, because this is when AI takes over, okay? So this is also an inversion. Now, I don't want to get too much into religions, because I spoke about a lot of different things, but what I want to do is, I just want to let you know, is that I ain't got much time left, but with inversions like this, on a large scale, okay, it turns the universe upside down, and it's an idea of understanding, not on truth, okay, but it is, because it turns the universe upside down, okay, like the animal that you've slaughtered, for example, in the Muslim regimes, right? Which I'm not saying is not bad, but I'm saying I understand how you work the cross, I understand how you work that position of them with how you eat your animals, and I just think that there's an understanding that takes place here, but I also think there needs to be some sort of level ground where it doesn't get too much like it has now. Like, for example, you've got reduced sections and there's just loads of meat. Why do you need to process that much meat when it's not even being sold in the shops? Okay, so this is kind of how you can see, the world as, a commodity. They've financially commoditized everything. Food at a speed. It's got to the point where now it has to be, there isn't any left. We'll have to come back tomorrow and get some. Why? Because it's a buyer's market, and there'll always be an aspect of competition there. But if you've got it there ready, and then there's start date stuff, and you've got, what's the point? So obviously I'm meeting a Sansi in the middle, but I'm also trying to show you an aspect of something else, and why, okay? So why you shouldn't do that, because it creates an aspect of black cloud over the lands, of sorrow, of pain, okay, of aspects of torture, and it's true. So this is the Sansi, right? So this is how we know that this world can be more peaceful, because we can see it, okay? We can see, we can feel the pain, okay, as natural entities, because we have an auric field, and we are people. We're walking around, everyone's sad. Why is everyone sad? I don't understand. Well, that's why, okay? That is why. And it's because energy doesn't just disappear, and they have access to an aspect of source, which isn't necessarily true. Usually people don't understand what that source is, which is really sad, and it's actually an aspect of innocence. So be careful where you get your sources from, guys, because I've seen you now, all in the system, thinking you're up here, but you're down here, and the people are up here, okay? You're as well, to a degree. But if you're working at a job and you're just doing I do, that's all you are. It's an I do person. Here, I do what? Listen to you, listen to this, listen to that. I do what? Be a good person, yeah? Listen, love, allow a woman to love, because I'm the G, yeah? So I do tell you a truth. I do come with you with a truth, right? And not a lot of people like it, because it spreads aspects of awareness. This is why, your subs get hijacked. This is why it's frozen, right? Because there's an aspect of teaching that takes place, and people don't like it. And they also don't like it when you keep talking as well, okay? It's an aspect of being abused. If you're not allowed to speak about a truth, who you are, gematria, Jama, And then 369, Tria, you're not allowed to speak about who you are, because they're my digits. March 3, 6, 6, 1989, 9. So I am it, right? 369. Gemma, Tria. Tria because it's 369. It's the square root, right? So this is how you have to understand the significance of certain people who might have an ascribed status because Daddy had a club, right? So you've got an ascribed status now because Daddy had a Freemasonry club. So now you've got one and you've gone down the wrong path and fell, understanding aspects of Illuminati, and it's a game now of a tarot, and it's shown on YouTube. It's a tarot game, right? And they play one too. So what is it now? What is the excuse now? What's the excuse to harvest us now? Now there's another one, now there's another one, and they just play the game. And they fall when they play the Illuminati game. So, the Illuminati is a game of falling, but they say it's a rise, but it's not. Listen to me. When you rise to a gematria, this is your innocence. But you have to rise in understanding your own, not to steal other people's system. You don't learn anything when you come along, you just fall. You don't have anything left. You realise the shit crap that you've put people in all your life, and sitting in an ascribed status, and upon death you realise you have to go back and do it again, but you probably won't be in the same positions that you are this time, so you have to make it count when you're in them positions. You have to be careful in them positions. No, all these people out there, I'm not slating you, but powerful working people, okay, who have power in their hands to just do what they wilt. Yeah, you too have to understand that your job is so important. You can't degrade a state just because there was a plan 100 years ago to do it, right? It's getting boring. This is why you denominate me and degrade me, because you want me to show your mirror back at you. So I will show a mirror back at you, because you all know who I am. Gematria.